Welcome to another episode of Dad's Rules with Kevin Belzer, and we have a very special episode for you today. Today we are in the MAF podcast room in the Menace Underground on location recording Dad's Rules. What we're going to do today, even though the show is called Dad's Rules, we're going to do one that's not a rule. We do have a bunch of things that are...
Not a rule.
Yeah, not a rule.
What
things
is it?
They're things that I believe, yet I can't make these acceptable to society as a whole.
Because this is probably more Kevin and Melissa.
It's
more Kevin and Melissa rules, but we like to share them because, maybe they could be your rules too, maybe not.
Hey, look, if the whole world would incorporate this stuff, that'd be great.
We think so.
But since I'm going to piss off some very specific vehicle owners, I know that we're going to have a section of the site.
We love you anyway.
We're going to have a section of society that's just not going to agree with the rules at all. That's why this is not a rule. So the not a rule that we're going to go over today is driving rules.
Well, and to be fair, that some of this is honestly observational of things that we've personally observed for the reason of the mention of these specific vehicles. So we're people watchers by nature. I think both of us are. So this is something that stands out to us on a routine basis. So that is why the mention.
You're trying to almost put ice cream to it and go, yes, Mr. Toyota Prius driver, we don't like you, but here's some ice cream for you.
Okay, maybe.
Well, whatever.
Maybe.
Okay, so I broke it down into several different categories here. The first one I wanted to talk about was merging. And how I view merging may not be how other people view merging.
But this is how...
So how do you have specific rules for yourself as far as merging goes? Allowing vehicles in or not allowing a vehicle in?
I'm probably sure we're different. I think I approach it more from the defensive driving. I'm gauging it the whole way down the merge on the spot that I'm going to pick if I can. And so I gauge my speed on that as far as how quickly I'm accelerating. Believe me, I'm up to speed limit by the time I hit the end of the ramp, sometimes about halfway down the ramp.
Okay, so hold on a second. So first off, we both agree that you should be hitting the interstate at speed.
At speed. I know this should be common sense.
It should be.
We don't see it.
Did you know? Well, you wouldn't know because you've never gotten a speeding ticket.
No.
And I've had just a few. That when you go to defensive driving school, they actually have in there that you were supposed to accelerate up to the highway speed by the bottom of the ramp. That's the whole point of the ramp. Yet you have people meandering up there. Like where we live, it's 75 when you get on the ramp.
Yeah.
How many times have you gotten to the bottom of that ramp and the freaking idiot
55.
in front of you is going 55?
55 with a semi barreling up into our lane that we have to get into.
Personally, I think their license should be taken away.
I think they should have to take defensive driving. Yeah, I don't know. That's just so dangerous because I think that's probably where you get a lot of the ramp crashes is... I don't know, I haven't witnessed it, but I feel like that is the prime environment for a ramp crash. It's crazy. I don't know. So I get up to speed, I find the spot, and then I'm quickly picking my spot in the 3 lanes that I have to travel in. That's the typical environment that I'm in.
We'll get into lane choice here in a moment.
Yeah, right.
We're going to handle merging first, though. So we agree on that part.
Yep.
If you're already on the highway, though, and somebody wants to merge in, this is where we could differ. If they are...
We will.
Okay, well, if they
that's fine.
If they are a semi, I'm going to let them in.
Yeah, we let semis in. They have enough trouble with their whatever feet. I don't know. They have enough problems, and I give them props. They got it.
Look,
I let them in.
They're delivering my groceries,
Exactly.
my Amazon.
I let them in.
There's a lot of importance to this.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to let them in.
Yep.
If it's a Prius owner, I'm sorry, I'm not letting you in.
I wish for them to step on the gas harder most of the time because...
Look, I accidentally
in my experience, they're the ones that are driving under the speed limit.
The other day, just the other day, I let a Prius driver in, and I was stuck behind this Prius driver for a while.
Yeah.
That's why I don't let them in. because most of them, they're all worried about getting their little leaf things popping up on their
that's
screen.
probably why that they're
It's
trying to
definitely
match
why.
their economy thing.
A Prius driver is all about the leaves flying up beside him, and I'm like, just freaking drive.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I just want to get up to speed limit and go.
Yeah, so
That's
I
me,
don't.
though.
A lot of you out there may differ on this,
And that's okay.
and you may let Prius drivers on. My whole thing is these Prius drivers, they probably need to stick to surface streets.
You get hate mail.
Okay. So for recap, out of merging, I'll let semis in. I'll hit the highway
Speed by the time
at
it's the bottom.
speed. If you're somebody that does not hit the highway at speed, you probably should be on surface streets or not have a driver's license. And if you're a Prius owner, I'm just not going to let you in.
I'm playing the chess game. I'm like Frogger. I'm trying to make it all work. Sometimes I'll just.
Okay. Lane usage. You have 3 lanes on it, and sometimes you get a bonus lane called an HOV lane.
Sometimes
and then
here.
sometimes you get a bonus 4th lane and an HOV lane.
Temporarily, and then it merges into that third lane.
No.
eventually.
I'm
Which
talking
lane?
about there's 4 lanes across and then
okay.
an HOV lane.
Oh, okay. I know where you're talking. Okay.
Yeah, there's parts around the valley
you're
like
right.
that. It's pretty awesome.
Sounds crazy. It's not. California would be crazy. I don't know how people drive in California. That's
Well,
way too many lanes for me.
But they don't actually go anywhere. If you're in LA, it's like you're literally sitting on the back of somebody's
Yeah,
bumper.
I
That's like
guess.
how Chicago is too.
Yeah, Chicago's traffic's terrible.
You know, last time I went to Chicago, I flew in for a concert and then flew out after the concert. But when I flew in for the concert, I stayed at a hotel that's 15 miles away.
Right.
In the valley, what does 15 miles away mean?
Breeze.
About 12 to 15
Yeah,
minutes.
breeze.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
You know what it means in Chicago?
You might be 45 minutes later, 50
Oh, no,
minutes
no.
later, hour later.
No,
It's
I
forever.
wish. It said that I had an hour and a half to my destination.
That would drive me
An hour and a half
crazy. That
to
would
go.
drive me crazy.
Well, you took a city that's hundreds and hundreds of years old, and then you put a highway system kind of through it with a lot of bad neighborhoods around that you're not going to get off into. So it's like, it's just a...
Walking around downtown is fine. Trying to navigate a car around that city, not my favorite, personally. I know people like it. I'm not dogging in Chicago. It's just not for me.
So for simplicity's sake, let's say that we have 3 lanes and an HOV lane. You have the fast, faster, fastest, and the HOV lane. That's the 4 lanes. That's how I break it down. Now, not everybody will break it down this way.
Yeah.
So I will give them the benefit of the doubt, though, and say that the lane that I call the fast lane, which is the furthest one to your right, the one by the on and off ramp.
The regular lane. Let's call it the regular lane.
I'm going to call fast lane. You call it...
Regular lane.
Okay, so we'll give it another name as well, which would be, it's used for merging on and off the highway.
Yes.
It's the slowest of all the lanes. We can agree on that.
They have to be, because if you're in the part where they're merging on and off,
Correct.
it's going to just naturally be
However,
a slower lane.
They should still be going at highway speed.
They should hop over.
We can
one
agree
more
on that.
lane. Yeah.
The middle lane is a faster lane. This
Okay.
is like a lane to where you can camp out. You don't need to exit for a while
Right.
or anything, but you're going to go flow of traffic in
Right.
that middle lane. And it's usually about 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. At least.
Traffic seems to be going that, yes. Flow of traffic is faster in that lane than the other lane.
Okay,
Let's
so
say
we'll
that.
agree it's at least 5 miles over, though. At least 5 miles. Come
Here-
on. It's never below the speed limit in Phoenix, Arizona area. Never.
No.
Okay.
Observationally, no.
The next lane, the furthest lane to the left before the HOV lane, we're going to call that the fastest lane. The left lane is the fastest lane. The issue we have in this lane, though, is you'll have people that will go, well, I'm going over the speed limit, and they'll just camp out there. No. In most states, the way it's broken down is you're supposed to get back over, like you're on the Autobahn in Germany, you're supposed to get over for faster cars and let them pass. And even police officers will tell you that.
Yeah, okay. That's fine.
Look, I've interviewed 2 police officers about this, so that is more than enough of a sample pool to tell me that that's what that lane is for. I don't need to interview anymore because they both have agreed with my
Okay.
position.
All right.
So I don't need to incorporate any more police officers into that discussion. They all have agreed with me. So now we have stamped approval that that third lane is for driving really fast, for passing cars. And if other cars are going slow in front of you, they're supposed to get back over. That's a note for you Tesla and Prius owners out there that like to freaking camp out over there. And you know who you are. Tell me that the Tesla drivers are not the new Volvo drivers and Subaru drivers of our day.
I don't know.
I don't know why it is specific car companies ended up being the problem over time, though. It's like all of a sudden they like invite the latest level of drivers that annoy you.
But then you can see, and then from their point of view, I could say that they could say, oh, these guys with their gas guzzling cars are speeding around everywhere.
If they did not want your car to go 160 miles per hour, then they probably should have governed it down to what it's supposed to go.
He does not drive 160
I don't drive
miles
160
an hour.
miles. But I am making a very good point, though, aren't I? Is that they're rated to go that fast. Why are they rated to go that fast if we're not supposed to drive that fast? It is something to think about for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. The HOV lane, the way the HOV lane works here in Arizona is there's specific times you're allowed to be in that lane. You're allowed to be in that lane if you have 2 or more people from 6 to 9 in the morning.
6 to 9 in the morning and 3 to 6 in the evening.
3 to 7.
3 to 7.
3 to 7, which
right.
is ridiculous.
Yeah,
it should be
that's a
3 to 6. But it's 3 to 7 in the evening. You have to have at least 2 people in the car to drive in that lane. However,
those stories lately.
However, I believe that it should be to where you can also use it to pass people in that lane too. So that would be, I didn't say I was doing it. I said what I believe.
Okay.
That's what I believe it should be for. I also believe it should not be used for Teslas and Prius drivers to camp out in that lane because some of them have those specially placed to where even if they only have one person in it, they can go sit in that lane.
Well, because they have the electric car allowance for
There's
that lane.
so many electric cars now, though, that there should be nobody that gets that exception. We have a huge percentage of population now buying them.
I don't know what the percentage. That'd be an interesting statistic.
Well, you know, all stats that I'm going to give are going to be true. So we're going to say 10 to 15%. For today's purposes, we're going to say that the true stat is 10 to 15% of all cars on the road are electric vehicles.
True stat.
Okay, so I have 2 vehicles outside of those that I have very specific rules on. How to deal with BMW drivers. We laugh because we also do have a BMW. Now, we've only had it for a couple months.
It's all right.
However, my rule on BMW drivers is that I will let you merge over or come into my lane if I notice that it looks like that's what you're doing, if you use your turn signal. If you don't use your turn signal, I'm not going to let you over because that's the whole point of a turn signal is to let me know that you're merging over into my lane. However, if you do use the turn signal, I'm going to let you in because I know you must have spent a ton of money adding the optional turn signal to your car. Did you know that recently there was a model, a BMW, that was recalled for non-working turn signals? I don't even know how they figured this out because most BMW drivers do not use turn signals. So how did they even know that there was a problem with the turn signals in the first place?
And this is an actual observation that we made since we've even been living here, is that it just seems people that are routinely not using turn signals or lane changes are BMW drivers, and usually they're driving faster, and so they're kind of doing their thing.
We pick on them, but I think that there is truth in the joke to where a lot of them do drive like a-holes. Like when we bought our BMW, I did ask him, I said, hey, where's the asshole driver course that I'm supposed to take on delivery of my BMW? And then I also asked the guy, I said, does it come with the optional turn signals?
And he laughed. He thought it was funny too. So he got it too. So this must be like a thing.
It's like a known problem in the BMW world.
So it's not just Kevin and Melissa.
Yeah, it's a known problem that BMWs, even if they came with turn signals, people probably don't even know that they have turn signals that actually do work. Ours do work. We have tested them and we do use them. The other one, our lights went out off. That's funny. We're illuminated by the screen behind us. I digress. Okay, so the next one. How do I deal with pickups? Now this one, there's a caveat to it. It depends on what vehicle I'm driving. If I'm in my pickup truck pickup trucks can come in and out. If we're in one of our lower sitting cars, I generally don't like having pickups in front of me. So if one does get in front of me, I'll usually pass them and get to where I can see again. I just can't see around them.
That's true.
So I have different rules in the pickups. I'm probably not going to allow you, want you to merge in front of me. If you do, I'm just going to pass you because I just can't see around you.
Unless you're in your truck yourself. Then
if I'm in my truck, I can see over everybody.
Yeah.
So that's how I view that. I don't know how you feel about that, but
I mean, I was in a van before, and so yeah, the visibility is different. I just don't like to be behind trucks directly because they fling the rocks, and I hate broken windows.
Yep, and that absolutely
It makes me cringe.
Yep.
Which it probably does to everybody. For me, it's like it becomes something that is hard to not focus on every time I'm in the car until I get the windshield fixed.
All right,
There's that.
last one, and this is the funnest one we have, and this is gaper rules when there's
Okay,
an accident.
this one's good. Now these are Kevin and Melissa
So wait,
rules.
hold on a second. So you did not like any of my other driving rules? See, this is why we can't have it in the book. So if you have a copy of the first book, I had this rule before then, and it's not in there. All right, there is no driving rule book, driving rules in that book at all because we can't seem to come to agreement as a society of what's considered appropriate or not appropriate. Hopefully, the gaper ones, because I think that these are absolutely...
These might actually be helpful. I don't know.
I think that these are incredible.
We like these. We share these all the time.
Don't you hate it when there's... traffic is stalled out.
You sound like a commercial right then. Don't you hate it when...
Don't you hate it when you come up on a gaper and you see that it was a minor fender bender? And you're like, what the F were everybody looking at? Yes.
And then the other people, why is it so slow? Okay.
Look, what you should do is there's an accident is you should get over for...
Of course, and that's like a law and something. You move over law or whatever.
Yeah, you move over or you have to slow down. If
Yes.
you can't get over, you have to slow down when you're going
Keep
by.
them safe.
Look, we all agree on that.
Yes.
That just makes sense.
We want to keep everybody safe.
So let's just put that caveat, 'cause people are going to read into the rest of it and probably send us nasty emails.
Don't send us nasty emails. We want to keep our tow truck drivers, our police officers, and our accident victims and places. We want to keep them safe, and so make room. No question. All the time, 100%. However, gapers and slow traffic be from gaping
Okay.
of the things.
But we do have reasons that you are allowed to gape at accidents.
Where you shouldn't be frustrated or whatever, it's just this should be a thing.
Now, what's funny about this one, because I've had this happen here recently, to where you're all mad because traffic slowed down and whatnot.
Because you're in a hurry.
You're rolling up on it and you're like, and then you see that it's one of these four things and you're like, oh, I can't be mad about this.
Nope.
You're not allowed.
Not allowed to be mad about these things is what we feel. No matter what, you're just gonna have to be late. You're just gonna have to be whatever. No anger allowed. These situations right here.
Okay, number one.
One.
Car on fire.
Car on fire. Who doesn't want to see that?
Okay, so if the car is on fire, hey, that's just super cool. So you are allowed to look at that, to slow down, to gape all you want. Just bless your heart, enjoy it.
Well, and you also don't know if you've got people moving around trying to put out the fire. So I think there needs to be
nothing
more
to do with that.
vigilant.
Nope, nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that.
Okay.
It's a fire, and fire's cool. So you're allowed
Fire's cool.
to look at the fire.
Fire's cool.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two, car is upside down or it's on its side. Now, why is this one appropriate? Because if a car is upside down or on its side, that is not how the car was designed to operate.
Exactly.
So if a car is in a position where it wasn't designed to operate, you can gape at that as well. Upside down or on its side.
Not many opportunities to see that
Nope. So I did have that.
without ruining a vehicle.
I had that last week where I'm rolling up and I'm like, and then I get up on it and the vehicle was completely upside down. No crash cab, anything like that. You can see airbags deployed. They probably walked away from the whole thing.
Wow.
It wasn't taped off or anything. Down here, if it's taped off, then and they shut down the highway, you know somebody died. But they didn't do that. So somebody walked away from it.
Okay.
So the car was upside down. I'm like, can't be mad because the car is upside down. It meets one of the four rules.
One of the four criteria for allowing gapers.
Yep. Next one, dead body. if there's a dead body, you just have to respect the dead.
That's all.
Okay? So that one, we don't get worked up over that. We just respect. We say our little prayer there.
With our eyes open, because we're still driving.
Yeah. At that point, you're looking at God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah. Last one. A half-naked man or woman,
Or
whichever,
scantily clad. It doesn't have to be
whichever
half
you prefer.
naked.
Half-naked, man or woman, whichever you preferred. Scantily clad, whatever.
Okay.
But it can be man or woman. This one, it was funny. I originally only had the 3, and then this one happened one day when I was on the 101 around Scottsdale. I'm like, why is traffic backed up so far?
Because that only happens in the movies.
And it was literally it took us an hour to get up to this, and we got up there. It is 2 girls in bikinis that somebody's changing their tire. So not even really an accident, it's just a tire change out there. And I was like, oh, all right, I'm going to add that one in. Because I was like, it felt like it was appropriate.
Were they shooting a movie? That sounds like a movie scene.
Weren't shooting a movie or anything.
Yeah.
But I'm like, hey, it's now a rule on there.
So it was an added rule after
Yep.
that happened. I'm like, okay, I have to agree, I guess.
Now, if you guys got any more that you think should be added to that, let me know. We've actually had hours and hours of discussion about what should be on the gaper rules, allowed and not allowed list.
Even with our kids.
Yeah, and they seem to be in agreement on all of these as well.
Yeah.
So,
So we've taught them to be patient through gapers until you find out why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was a fun episode. This was a not a rule episode. Will never be in the book.
Nope.
Even though I honestly think it should be, but since I can't get
but
everybody to agree on it.
It's Kevin and Melissa opinion.
Well, because the thing is, if I don't feel like it's going to advance all of society.
Because it'll be probably too,
controversial
Yes, that's the word.
because of the issues with.
Yes, of
Look,
course.
and it's like here at the moment, I'm picking on Tesla and Prius drivers, and to some extent BMW drivers. But understand that if we take this rule back, even 10 years, we're talking more about Subaru drivers and Volvo drivers. So this has been a pretty fluid.
It's evolving.
It's evolving. We don't really know who the most annoying drivers are going to be on the road. They tend to switch up.
According to my son, I'm an annoying driver, so.
Well, you drive too slow. That's why.
I don't.
That's going to be a wrap on another episode of Dad's Rules with Kevin Belzer. We'll agree to disagree. If you liked or did not like this episode, I don't care. I need you to review, comment, share, and friends and enemies alike. We always bring that up. So until next time, go out and be the kick-ass adult I know you all can be.